they've cut off all the Wi-Fi and there are tons of people walking around with guns. So it's all a bit sketchy so far. No good adventure starts without a turbulent flight on a propeller plane, but I've made it. So I've arrived in the town of Nuki, which is behind me, and this side of me is the Pacific coast. Anyway, I guess the reason that I've come here is I had some time off work and I thought about where I could visit in Colombia that I haven't been to yet, and I wanted to make sure that it was a bit more purposeful. So I read about this port that was due to be built, but luckily in 2023 plans sort of fell through, and it would have been in this kind of area, like a few, I don't know, kilometers down that way. I would say down the road, but the road stops. Yeah, and I wanted to just try and find out a bit more about the place. Felipe said he'd show me around, introduce me to some of his friends and people, and just tell me a bit more about their story. And it sounded really cool, so I wanted to try and document it as much as possible. And that is the plan. Seems like there's some sort of big military, well, there is a military operation going on. Apparently it's to do with narco trafficking, which means they've cut off all the Wi-Fi and there are tons of people walking around with guns. So it's all a bit sketchy so far, but makes it worth it, makes it exciting. This is one of the most delicious fish curries I've ever eaten. Gonna have to go pay my compliments to the chef. Super rico.
¿Rico? Puro atún. Atún de esos, aquí cogen atunes muy...
Sí, sí, sí. Es increíble.
¿Te gusta, hermano? Que lo disfrutes, hermano.
Sí, gracias. First thoughts on this place are super cool. Really, really chilled. The people are so friendly, as in, I'm so clearly a tourist. I'm bright white and everyone else here is like dark skinned. And so I stick out like a sore thumb. And everyone comes up and goes like, "Hola amigo, ¿cómo estás? Like, how are you doing?" Yeah, I want to know where I'm from, why I'm here. It's really, really nice. Quite an eventful afternoon, and I didn't really film any of it for quite obvious reasons. But basically, I got rescued by the granny. And she was so lovely, she decided it was not safe for me, so she took me home and has been cooking me some supper.
¿Quiere otro pedacito de pescado? ¿Quiere otro pedacito?
Sí, hay pero.
Bueno, mira.
Might have to kind of restart the vlog tomorrow, but anyway, we'll see. Muy buenos días, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, mi niño, ¿cómo andas?
Hola.
¿Dormiste bien, mijo?
Ah, como un bebé, sí. Me encantan las alarmas acá. Sí.
Los pollos, los pájaros, todos esos son las alarmas.
Sí, sí, sí.
Pollas de jaguar, fresquita, weón. ¡Jaguar! Es una belleza ya.
¿Puedes explicar un poquito de lo que vamos a hacer?
Claro que sí.
Bueno,
aquí nos encontramos en Jurubirá. Estamos empezando la caminata del día de hoy. Vamos a ir a buscar herpetos, especialmente especies como Ophaga solanensis, Atelopus espurrelis y Filobates arotaenia. Aquí ya vamos por el tramo de la playa. Enseguida, en unos minutos, vamos a empezar a entrar por la quebrada.
Super cool.
Miren este paisaje.
Cool.
Tranquilo.
Sí.
Bueno, aquí ya vamos a empezar a subir al sendero.
Sí.
Ya pasamos de un ecosistema de playa a otro más de bosque. Bueno, hermano, aquí te daré cierta breve información de lo que vamos a hacer en el recorrido.
Perfecto.
Este sendero se llama Los Anturios, Aguascalientes, porque tiene los termales.
Sí.
Y pues vamos a hacer varias paradas. Vamos a ir caminando pues no tan rápido.
Ajá.
Porque la intención es, más que llegar al punto, es observar las especies que hay en el recorrido, ¿vale? Entonces, mi recomendación es que vamos con cuidado. Vamos a entrar a un lugar salvaje donde van a haber algunas especies, y lo importante es que vayamos con el cuidado necesario.
Sí.
Una conciencia de conservar lo que ya está y también de cuidarnos nosotros. Por ejemplo, Si tú quieres tocar algo, primero mira que no haya algún insecto, alguna hormiga, alguna araña o un escorpión. Si vas a pisar, a caminar, primero tienes que ir mirando bien dónde pisas.
Sí.
Yo siempre acostumbro a hacer pausas, pequeñas pausas de ir caminando,
Ajá.
mirar qué hay por aquí, qué hay por allá y luego seguir. ¿Vale?
Vale, sí.
A ver, pues una vez más agradezco que estés aquí, hermano, invirtiendo en nuestro negocio familiar.
Ajá.
Y pues espero que disfrutes de la experiencia. Algunas especies a veces están muy difíciles o camufladas y son muy difíciles de encontrar. Pero uno se tiene que basar en muchos sentidos, por ejemplo, algún aroma de alguna rana. Pero lo más importante es escuchar.
Sí.
Por ejemplo, espérate.
Mi micrófono no es tan bueno.
Esa es una filoate.
Así.
Acercándonos despacio, vamos a ir identificando el sonido y una vez estemos más cerca ya empezamos como a mirarla. ¿Escucha? This is actually exhilarating. Por aquí, por
Sí.
Venga, venga, venga. Venga.
Sí.
Venga. Venga.
¡Ey!
Adiós.
See ya. Does this count as the parrots coming to the bird bench?
Una Dora.
Sí.
Era de mi tía.
I don't know if you can hear, but in the background there is some beautiful Spanish music going on because it's someone's birthday in the village. But it is currently 6:30 and that has been going on since 10 PM last night, non-stop. The people I'm staying with are so bummed out because they didn't sleep a wink. I don't really mind because I sleep. There's Felipe. It's so funny. Buen día, Felipe, ¿cómo estás?
¿Qué tal, hermano?
Sí, súper bien. Sí.
¿Sientes bien?
Sí. Since I'm already awake, I thought I would walk down to the beach, La Playa. It was also raining so much last night, I don't know if you can see puddles everywhere. It's just insane. There's literally nobody here. One person miles down the beach that way, and one person that way, and one person in the middle. It's a strange balance. I was speaking yesterday with Felipe about, the balance of making sure that there's tourism because, this is one of the poorer regions of Colombia and they deserve tourism. It's an amazing place, but also, you don't want to ruin a place like this because it becomes, somewhere like some of the other places on the coast, which I've heard are pretty overrun with tourists now, which this is definitely not, and I don't think it will become like that anytime soon. Felipe and his mum have been so welcoming. This is going to sound very cliche, but it feels like you're literally part of their family, as in you're staying in their family home, which is Felipe's mum and dad's home. They've lived here all of their life and they've opened it up to tourists to come and stay, base themselves here so they can go into the jungle. She's so lovely, just, will come up and give you a hug in the morning, ask how you are, brings you amazing food each day. I'm very lucky to, I'm being bitten by sandflies, very lucky to have found it and Who knows, might be back to see the whales later in the year if I'm still here. That's the plan. So day 2, kind of, and today I'm coming to check out some like thermal pools with Felipe and his cousin, Carolina I think she's called. Wow, look at that, found them straight away. Lucky me. Anyway, forgot my swimming trunks, so looks like I'm just gonna have to go in my boxers. But there's nobody here, so I'm sure that's fine. And I bet Felipe won't give the monkeys either. Is it warm? It's warm. That's really warm. It's kind of funny, the concept of getting into what is basically a jacuzzi, sort of naturally warm spring-fed water in a jungle that is absolutely roasting hot. This evening we will go on a night walk to look for something called Copronella eucanos, or Eucanos copronella, something like that, I'm not really sure. Which is a type of glass frog that has these amazing little yellow spots over it. It's so cool here, I'm loving it. All I can say is I would highly recommend visiting places like this. Not necessarily come exactly here, although I do think you should. But you know, go check out the smaller, slightly off the beaten track places, but make sure you do it with good companies. It's something that I'm going to try and make sure I do more and more of, because you get a lot out of it, but also it helps them grow a good, sustainable business. I saw on the first day the pressures that places like this are feeling with things like narco-trafficking. So, you know, if you can go and support local businesses with ecotourism, I think it's only a good thing. So that is my little, I don't know, my thoughts, I guess, not my advice. These are my very wet and smelly socks that are just going to be wet and smelly for the whole of the rest of the day, I think. So, on the menu tonight is tuna ceviche. Mmm, delicioso. Gracias. Listo.
¿Qué tal, familia? Nos encontramos aquí a punto de salir a nuestro safari nocturno. Hoy vamos a hacer una caminata en la montaña y nuestro máximo objetivo es una ranita de cristal que se llama Cocranella venomous. Aproximadamente vamos a caminar unas 3 o 4 horas y si tenemos la posibilidad de ver otras especies también les vamos a mostrar. A veces salen serpientes, algunos mamíferos y pues vamos a ver cómo nos va.
Hasta luego. Hasta luego. All right. See what we can find. Some hot, humid, pretty thick jungle. Luckily we're on a trail. Otherwise it would be near impossible trying to get through this stuff without walking into a bazillion wandering spiders. Sí, huele más rica como yo en este momento. ¿Y cómo se llama?
Almirajo.
Almirajo.
Chupan. Como el cacao.
Como cacao.
Ajá. Nutritivo.
Well, that sort of brings an end to the first part of this trip. It's been all too short, but I've spent 3 nights here, seen some pretty cool wildlife, and made a couple of friends, which includes Felipe and his cat. So hopefully I'll be back tomorrow morning, first thing, crack of dawn at like 6 AM. I've got a boat which takes me back to Nuki, and then from there I think we're going into Jurubirá, which is where the port that I mentioned was going to be built, and I don't really know what's happening. I have no idea what the itinerary is, but I'm meeting up with a guy called Carlos who I met briefly on the first day, and he's going to explain a bit of the context behind the stories of the people who live here. So looking forward to it. Should be really cool. Anyway, I'm gonna get him out of my bed.